Why does Coca-Cola taste the same in every corner of the world? Why is it sold in more countries than the United Nations has members? And how did something invented as a nerve tonic in the 1800s become one of the most recognizable and powerful brands on Earth? This is not just the story of a soda. It's the story of a global empire built on war, addiction, marketing magic, emotional psychology, and a near-obsessive mastery of distribution. This is the real story of Coca-Cola. It begins with a man named John Stith Pemberton. He wasn't a tycoon. He wasn't a visionary. He was a wounded Confederate soldier and a small-town pharmacist in post-Civil War Atlanta, hooked on morphine. Like thousands of other veterans, Pemberton was battling addiction while trying to rebuild a life in the shattered South. But unlike most, he had a lab. And in 1886, he mixed up something strange. A bubbly caramel-colored liquid made with coca leaves, caffeine-rich cola nuts, alcohol, and yes, a trace of cocaine. It was called Coca-Cola. Originally marketed as a nerve tonic, Coca-Cola claimed to cure everything from headaches to indigestion to erectile dysfunction. It was sold at soda fountains and promoted as a medicine with a pleasant taste. In its first year, Coca-Cola sold just 9 glasses a day. Pemberton, though, didn't see much of its success. He died just 2 years after inventing it, broke, addicted, and having sold off most of his rights to the formula. The man who saw Coca-Cola's true potential wasn't a chemist. He was a businessman. Asa Griggs Candler. Candler acquired the rights to Coca-Cola for $2,300, equivalent to around $70,000 today. A pharmacist by training but a marketer at heart, he wasn't interested in selling medicine. He was interested in selling a habit. Candler flooded the country with Coca-Cola's name, painted on barns, store signs, clocks, and even bookmarks. He distributed 8.5 million coupons offering a free glass of Coke, an absolutely insane number in the 1890s. At a time when marketing was little more than hanging a shingle, this was aggressive, disruptive, and brilliant. But his true stroke of genius was the bottling franchise model. Instead of trying to build factories himself, Candler sold exclusive rights to independent bottlers, small businesses who paid Coca-Cola for the syrup, mixed it with carbonated water, bottled it, and sold it locally. Candler kept brand control. The bottlers bore the cost. It was a low-risk, high-growth model, one that would eventually scale across the entire world. By 1920, Coca-Cola had over 200 bottlers in the US alone. It was a nationwide product without owning a single bottling plant. But what really cemented Coca-Cola in culture wasn't a factory or a formula. It was Santa Claus. In the 1930s, Coke was looking to boost winter sales, so they hired an illustrator named Haddon Sundblom to create a holiday ad campaign. The result? A jolly, round, grandfatherly Santa, dressed in red and white, drinking Coca-Cola. Before this, Santa's appearance was vague and inconsistent, sometimes tall and thin, sometimes wearing green or tan. But Coca-Cola's Santa was everywhere, and soon he was the Santa. Coca-Cola didn't invent Santa Claus, but they branded him. That's how powerful the company's marketing became. They literally shaped the global image of a mythical figure. But Coca-Cola's most brilliant expansion wasn't driven by marketing. It was driven by war. In 1941, after the US entered World War II, Coca-Cola's president Robert Woodruff made a patriotic promise. Every American soldier, anywhere in the world, would be able to buy a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents, no matter the cost. Coca-Cola worked with the US military to build over 60 bottling plants in war zones, often at taxpayer expense. These plants provided Coke to troops but doubled as a beachhead for global expansion. When the war ended, the plants stayed. The relationship stayed. The demand stayed. And Coca-Cola, now embedded in the emotional memory of millions of veterans, became more than a drink. It was a symbol of America, of home, of peace. That emotional resonance would echo for decades. In the 1970s, at the height of the Cold War and Vietnam unrest, Coca-Cola launched its most famous ad, World of Coke. It was a hit. The ad wasn't selling sugar water anymore. It was selling harmony. Coca-Cola had elevated its brand beyond product. It had become a feeling, an idea. The world noticed. But not every move Coke made was golden. In 1985, worried about losing market share to Pepsi's sweeter flavor, Coca-Cola did the unthinkable. It changed its formula. New Coke launched with fanfare, taste tests, and corporate confidence. The backlash was immediate and massive. Consumers revolted. Hotlines were flooded. Some people drove hundreds of miles to stock up on the original Coke. One man buried bottles in his backyard. Just 79 days later, Coca Cola backtracked, reintroducing the old formula as Coca Cola Classic. The twist? Sales skyrocketed. The backlash had become free advertising. People had redeclared their loyalty. Coca Cola had stumbled into a masterclass in brand identity. It learned that the product mattered less than the memory of the product. By the 1990s, Coca Cola was serving over 1 billion drinks a day. Today, it's 1.9 billion servings daily in over 200 countries. Coca Cola is sold in more places than there are McDonald's, more places than the Catholic Church, and more places than the United Nations has members. The company now owns or distributes over 500 brands, from Sprite to Fanta, Minute Maid to Powerade, Smart Water to Costa Coffee. And it's still growing. In 2021, Coca-Cola acquired Body Armor, a sports drink startup, for over $5 billion, trying to keep pace with changing consumer tastes and health trends. But with size comes scrutiny. Coca-Cola has been criticized for everything from contributing to obesity, to water depletion in India, to using sugarcane produced under unethical conditions. In some parts of the world, villagers can't get clean water, but they can get Coca-Cola. It's a paradox that underscores the company's incredible distribution power and its complex global impact. So how did Coca-Cola become an empire? Not by being the healthiest option, not by inventing the cola category, not even by being the tastiest. Coca-Cola won by doing 3 things better than anyone else. Branding. They created emotional attachment, cultural moments, even icons like Santa Claus. Distribution. From bottlers to battlefield factories, Coke built a network most governments would envy. Consistency. Whether you're in Texas or Tokyo, Coke tastes the same. That builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. Coca-Cola isn't just in the beverage business. It's in the business of memory, of moments, of feelings. They don't just sell soda, they sell connection. And that is the real secret of Coca-Cola's empire. If you enjoyed this deep dive into business history, hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who loves Coke, and join us for the next episode of Founder Footnotes. Next up, the rise and fall of WeWork, how Elon Musk turned rockets into a business, and the untold power behind Rockefeller's empire. This is Founder Footnotes, where business history becomes business wisdom.